a specific archetype, and this is a little awkward, but if you think about autism spectrum disorder, it's a very wide spectrum. And for some, it's debilitating, and some it's a superpower. And like I'm not as deep as you, but if I look at the kind of modern trillion-dollar company CEOs from Jensen to Jobs to Gates to Bezos, Zuckerberg, Elon, Larry Ellison, 6 out of the 10 have publicly said that they're on the spectrum. And maybe a couple others are too. I don't know. What is your take on that?
I just found this Peter Thiel quote about this that I think is interesting. And I do think for some people, for Elon in particular, it's definitely a superpower.
Yes.
Because he has this line and he says, I think this is a direct quote from Elon. I think it's a real weakness to want to be liked, a real weakness, and I do not have that. This is what Peter said about this. Let me read like 4 sentences to you. Many of the more successful entrepreneurs seem to be suffering from a mild form of Asperger's.
Yes.
Where it's like you're missing the imitation socialization gene. Now, this is, I think Peter's take on this is really good. We need to ask what it is about our society where those of us who do not suffer from Asperger's are at some massive disadvantage because we will be talked out of our interesting, original, creative ideas before they're even fully formed.
Yes.
Think about trying to talk Elon out of building SpaceX. Good luck with that. This is the last thing that Peter says. Oh, that's a bit too weird. That's a little too strange. And maybe I'll just go ahead and open that restaurant I've been talking about that everyone else can understand and agree with, or do something extremely safe and conventional.
Yes. So it's pretty common today, even the current founders.
Definitely in tech.
If you look back to Carnegie and Rockefeller, is there any evidence in what you've been reading that that was pretty prevalent back then too?
No, I don't think so. That's the interesting thing. Maybe there's something particular about technology. We're in San Francisco today. You know, everybody's like, you should move here. I think it's very beautiful, you know, physical beauty, but I have a very unique vantage point in the founder ecosystem because all kinds of founders listen to founders. And what I would say about dropping into these different communities is like the problem with the Bay Area and San Francisco is they're all mimetic about being anti-mimetic. So that therefore makes them the most mimetic of all. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of this is people driving force behind the company.
Let's talk about these individuals. You get inside their heads. And some people have positive self-talk. I have negative self-talk.
Still?
Yes.
I just changed this about myself. It's the best ever.
Okay, I've tried. What about these people you're interviewing? Do they have imposter syndrome? Do they have negative self-talk as they overcome?
The imposter syndrome is an interesting idea, an interesting question. I can't think of anybody I think that has imposter syndrome right now. You still do?
Yeah, I feel like kind of nervous right now.
Why are you nervous?
Just am.
So I don't know about the imposter syndrome.
I was just in a board meeting for the last 3 hours. It's like, what am I doing here?
Interesting.
Yeah.
One of the greatest pieces of advice that Steve Jobs ever got, he got from Nolan Bushnell. So Nolan Bushnell was like 9 or 10 years older than him. He was his mentor, founder of Atari. And he told Steve, he's like, if you pretend to be in control, everybody else will assume that you are.
Okay.
Steve took that advice and ran with it.
Okay.
So I don't know about imposter syndrome. What was the other part of your question?
Just
negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen, dude.
Yeah.
Like he wakes up every day and he says, he looks in the mirror and says, why do you suck so much?
Yeah.
Do
you think that's common?
I mean, then you think about Elon, he says his mind is a storm. He seems to like embrace chaos and need like some kind of foil or some kind of problem. He seems to be like freaked out when things are going well.
Yes.
So I definitely think he's got a dark mind.
I'm kind of negative inside, but as a founder, trying to project positive outside.
I think it's way more common. The best founders, they don't sleep on wins. They essentially do something great. They'll celebrate for like a day and then back to it. So like I just did Tony Zhu of DoorDash, who I think you guys were investors in.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is like, we got so much more to do. It's like, okay, we had something good happen. Like, let's go out to dinner. And by the time before dinner's over, I'm thinking of the 17 things that are not going right. That's why he's great. That's also different than like being super critical and negative. And I think for me, Brad Jacobs, who started 8 separate billion-dollar companies, he's the one reading his book and then building a relationship with him. I don't know what happened. And this has never happened in my life, but just something about being around him. Because he has 45 years of experience as an entrepreneur, longer than I've been alive. And he used to be fucking ruthless with himself. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's not serving me. And we were talking about this. He's like, you love what you do. He's like, would you stop? Like, he's like, your source of drive, that negative source of drive is not serving you anymore. Mm-hmm. Now you love what you do. You found what you think is your life's work. Your inner drive should be generative. Mm-hmm. It should be like, hey, I'm trying to make something that's good for the world that I love to do, that I'm very proud of. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, it was almost like, might not have been overnight, but there's just something that clicked. I'm like, I'm done with that. And now it's just like I wake up every day. I'm like, I cannot believe. Like I was texting my team last night when we got done with Ed Catmull. I was like, how is this my life?
But maybe that negative self-talk is what got you to where you are today.
But then your fuel source has to change.
Yeah.
Because it could also destroy you.
Fine.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't want to do something for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years. I want to do it forever. If you look at the people I'm selecting to talk to, they've been doing it for 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with people that people say, if you love what you do it for free. There's another level. If you love what you do, they couldn't pay you to stop.
Yes.
Those are the people I love.
Yes. Okay. You brought up something interesting about platform changes. The Industrial Revolution, obviously huge platform change. Even like Henry Ford in the assembly line, kind of a big platform change.
Massive.
When those things happened,
that you can rebuild almost every single business AI native and have a massive advantage. And I think that's an interesting thing.
When you look back at all these folks, how many of them had like great, well-balanced personal lives, great families, had like a really deep life beyond between the lines?
I think 3 of them.
Out of all of them, only 3.
I think Ed Thorpe, who is a very fascinating character, created the first quantitative hedge fund, invented the way to count cards for blackjack, phenomenal investor.
But the fact is only 3.
Yeah, 3. Him, Sol Price. Do you know who Sol Price is?
No.
So Sol Price is the most influential retailer of all time. Sam Walton said he took more ideas from Sol Price than anybody else. Jeff Bezos took a lot of ideas for Amazon from Sol Price.
Yeah.
So he knows who he is. Bernie Marcus literally got the idea for Home Depot from Sol Price. Jim Sinegal of Costco literally said, I didn't learn a lot from Sol Price. I learned everything I know from Sol Price. So he created all these billionaire retailers. Other one I would say is Brunello Cucinelli. But that was his autobiography. And I heard that may or may not be true.
Advice to founders. So I spend all my days with founders trying to build trillion-dollar companies. Advice for them on their lives.
I don't ever give advice.
Why not? I'm asking you for advice right now.
For you?
Let's use me as a proxy.
I think people are going to do what they want to do. And so they'll seek out useful information. But I think these people that go around, not you, but like anybody that just goes around like trying to identify what's going on in somebody else's life. Like I think it's almost like relatively useless. I think people literally do what they want to do. I talk to a lot of founders. Now there is this thing where they find it very useful to have like a conversation. They kind of like dump what's going on in their company to me and I kind of run it through everything I've read and maybe I come up with something interesting, but I wouldn't consider it advice. It's just like, oh shit, Rockefeller ran into that situation. This is what he did, or Ford did this, or this guy did that.
Is it possible to build $1 trillion company and have a very well-balanced life like Ed Thorpe?
I don't even pay attention to the public market. So
there's 10.
There's 10?
There are 12, including like the Middle Eastern oil companies.
Okay, so let's just take the American companies.
10.
Any of those guys well-balanced?
Here's what I will say about them that I thought was interesting. Only 2 of them are divorced. Most of them were married before they were famous and stayed married. And most of them married their spouse was kind of an intellectually equal. They met them and they were very accomplished on their own. And so they started out with an intellectually formidable partner very early and stuck with them. I thought that was interesting. Of course, like Larry Ellison's had 4 wives. Like
I think 6 now.
Okay, but
he's doing some heavy lifting for these other guys.
But I thought it was interesting that they all got married very early to peers. And how about through history?
In history, they're just like they're terrible husbands, like divorce, like just not.
I see.
Good. I would not consider them in many cases bad fathers too.
I see.
This is a very difficult thing to do. I remember I just finished reading Phil Knight's autobiography, Shoe Dog, for the 3rd time.
Book. I love that book.
And think about what he says at the very end. You know, like he had 2 sons. One of them died tragically in a drowning accident. And he was like trying to reconcile this as a grown 75-year-old man at the time. And he's having a hard time understanding this, that like this push and pull, like I wanted to spend more time with my sons. But if I'm being honest, my biggest regret is that I can't go back and do it all again. And in Sam Walton's autobiography, you know, he sacrificed a lot of time away from his family to build Walmart. And he knows he's dying. He's writing the book when he's riddled with cancer. And he's
Did you regret that?
No, that's what I was getting to. And he's like, if I did it all again, I would do the exact same thing I did. I'm very skeptical of these people that get to in their lives is like, oh, I have this regret. Because I think this personality type, it's almost like a compulsion. If they played out life again, they'd want to do it the same way. I talked to Jeffrey Katzenberg about this, who's very interesting. He swears he has no talent. He just throws hours at everything. It's like, Jeffrey, you're obviously fucking talented. But he was telling me about this. He's like, listen, the biggest thing with your kids is like quality of time, not quantity. He's just like, don't do it where like you're on the phone or you're like distracted. Like if you only have 10 hours a week with them, make those the best 10 hours ever. Do a ton of planning with it, like make it so it's so memorable with them. I thought that was an interesting idea, like recommendation. But look at the people, like the AI race right now. This is the game of kings. Yeah, I met Demis Hassabis. He just did an interview on Fortune where he's just like, his schedule is, he has like his thinking time from like 11 p.m. to 4 in the morning, right? And he goes to sleep. Then he works a full day at the office the next day, then has dinner with his wife and kids, and then does his thinking time again. You think he's balanced? He's got 2 work days.
Yeah. Okay, you studied all these people.